Your apartment is not too small. It just hasn't been designed to feel bigger yet. There are specific techniques, proven by environmental psychology, that make any small space feel larger than its actual dimensions. Not illusions, not tricks. Design decisions that work with how the brain reads a room. Here is every single one of them. Before any specific technique makes sense, it helps to understand the mechanism behind all of them. The brain does not measure a room. It reads it, assembling a perception of size from visual cues that have very little to do with actual dimensions and almost everything to do with how clearly it can read the boundaries of the space. When boundaries are clear, unobstructed, and continuous, when the eye can travel from one wall to another without interruption, the brain perceives the room as larger than its measurements suggest. When boundaries are broken by clutter, competing furniture arrangements, or inconsistent surfaces, the brain reads the space as fragmented, and fragmented spaces always feel smaller than they are. Every technique that follows is a direct application of this single principle, giving the brain a clear, unobstructed read of the space. Of all the techniques available for making a small apartment feel larger, continuous flooring is the one that delivers the most impact with the least effort, and the one most consistently overlooked. When a single floor material runs uninterrupted from wall to wall throughout an entire apartment, the same pale oak, the same light stone, the same consistent surface without rugs breaking it into zones or different materials marking transitions between rooms, the brain reads the entire floor area as one continuous space rather than a series of smaller compartments. The result is a perceived expansion of the apartment that no amount of furniture rearrangement can replicate. The floor becomes the largest single surface in the space, and when that surface is continuous, pale, and reflective of natural light, it effectively doubles the visual footprint of the apartment without changing a single wall. The relationship between furniture height and perceived ceiling height is one of the most reliable principles in spatial psychology. When furniture sits low, when the sofa, the coffee table, the bed, and the storage all sit closer to the floor than to the ceiling, the proportion of visible wall above the furniture line increases dramatically. That visible wall above the furniture is what the brain reads as ceiling height. A room furnished with low pieces feels taller than the same room furnished with pieces of conventional or high proportion, because the ratio of visible wall to ceiling has fundamentally shifted. The ceiling, paradoxically, appears further away precisely because the furniture draws the eye closer to the floor. In a small apartment, choosing low-profile furniture throughout, and specifically avoiding anything that approaches shoulder height, is one of the highest impact decisions available. The mirror is the oldest space-expanding tool in residential design, and also the most frequently misused. A mirror hung at eye level on a wall, the way most people place them, reflects the opposite wall back at you and confirms the room's actual boundaries rather than dissolving them. The mirror placements that genuinely expand perceived space are more deliberate. A large mirror positioned to reflect a window doubles the visible natural light in the room and makes the space feel as though it extends beyond the wall it stands against. A mirror placed at the end of a corridor eliminates the visual stopping point that corridors create. And a floor-length mirror leaning against a wall rather than hung on it creates a vertical expansion that makes the ceiling appear considerably higher than it actually is. The key in every case is that the mirror should reflect something worth doubling: light, a window, depth, rather than simply reflecting the room back at itself. The relationship between color, light, and perceived space is well established in environmental psychology. Pale, light-reflective surfaces on walls, ceilings, and floors cause the brain to perceive those surfaces as further away than they actually are, effectively pushing the boundaries of the room outward in perception without moving them in reality. But the specific shade matters more than simply choosing white. The most space-expanding colors in small apartments are warm whites and very pale neutrals with warm undertones, cream, warm gray, soft grayish, rather than cool, bright whites, which can create a clinical brightness that paradoxically makes a space feel more confined rather than more open. Combined with maximized natural light, bare or sheer-covered windows, pale reflective floors, no dark furniture blocking light paths, these colors create rooms that consistently feel larger than their floor plans suggest. Furniture arrangement in a small apartment is not primarily about aesthetics, it is about movement. Specifically, about whether the natural path through the space is clear or whether it is interrupted by furniture that forces the body and eye to navigate around obstacles rather than moving through the room freely. Rooms where movement is unobstructed feel larger than rooms where it is blocked, even when the actual dimensions are identical, because free movement through a space is the most direct physical experience of its size. When you can walk from the entrance to the window in a straight line without detouring around a coffee table or a chair placed at an awkward angle, the room communicates its full dimension to you through your body rather than just your eyes. The arrangement rule for small apartments is to identify the natural movement paths through the space first, and then arrange furniture around those paths rather than across them. The instinct in a small apartment is to find furniture that serves multiple functions: a sofa bed, a storage ottoman, a dining table that folds against the wall. This instinct is correct, but the reason it works is not simply that multifunctional pieces save space. It is that they reduce the total number of pieces in the room. Fewer pieces of furniture means more visible floor area. More visible floor area means a larger perceived space. The multifunctional piece is not valuable because it is clever. It is valuable because it eliminates the need for an additional piece that would otherwise occupy floor space block light paths, and fragment the visual continuity of the room. The goal is not to fill the apartment with ingenious furniture. It is to fill it with as few pieces as possible while still meeting every functional requirement, and to let the space that remains speak for itself. In a small apartment, every horizontal surface that is covered becomes a visual boundary, a point where the eye stops rather than continues. Cleared surfaces, by contrast, allow the eye to travel across them without interruption, contributing to the perception of continuous, unbroken space. This is why decluttered apartments consistently feel larger than cluttered ones of identical size. Not because the clutter physically occupies significant space, but because it multiplies the number of visual stopping points in the room. A coffee table with 7 objects on it gives the eye 7 places to stop. A coffee table with 1 object gives it 1. And then the eye continues to the floor, the wall, the window, reading the full dimension of the room rather than resting on the surface. The edit is not about minimalism as an aesthetic. It is about giving the eye permission to read the room all the way to its edges. When these techniques are applied individually, each one produces a measurable improvement in perceived space. When they are applied together, continuous pale flooring, low furniture, strategic mirrors, warm light reflective color, ceiling height curtains, clear movement paths, reduced piece count, and decluttered surfaces, the cumulative effect consistently makes small apartments feel like spaces that defy their own floor plans. The apartment does not change. The square footage does not change. What changes is how completely and clearly the brain is able to read the space. And a space that is read completely always feels larger than one that is read partially, interrupted, and fragmented. This is not illusion. This is design working exactly as it should. The apartment doesn't change. The perception of it does, completely, when the right decisions are made. Continuous flooring, low furniture, light over clutter, curtains at the ceiling, mirrors that reflect depth, not walls. Subscribe for a new interior video every week. And tell me in the comments, what is the one thing you are changing in your apartment first?